Okay, 5B shouldn't be that hard of an assignment because here's what it says. Tell if the quadratic equation can be factored or if you have to use a quadratic formula to solve. That means when you make that T-chart, if you find the numbers, you make the two parentheses and voila. If you can't find the numbers, you have to use the song, opposite of B, plus or minus, the square root, B squared minus 4AC over 2A, okay? Now, you have to tell what you're going to do, and this is for your benefit. It's not just a busy work assignment, because it's annoying making that T-chart and not being able to find the two numbers, okay? So it'd be nice if we had a way where if we knew right away, we could just use a quadratic formula. So you're not going to solve these. I don't need you solving for x, okay? You're going to write one of two things as your answer. You're going to write the equation can be factored or the equation cannot be factored, use a quadratic formula. Okay, what do I mean by all this? Here's what I'm talking about. You have example number 1, okay? 2x to the second plus 5x plus 3 equals 0. Now, you have an A, you got a B, you got a C. You don't need to find the two answers. I don't need you doing that. There is a method you can use to tell if that T-chart's going to work or if you have to use the quadratic formula, okay? What you do is you make a square root and all you put in is the expression B squared minus 4AC, just that part of it, okay? Just that part of it. So B is 5, and then 4, A is 2, and C is 3. So make your square root again, put a minus sign right there, there. And 5 to the second, 5 times 5 is 25. 4 times 2 times 3, that's 8 times 3 is 24. So 25 minus 24 is 1. So the square root of 1 is 1. I didn't get a decimal, okay, when I did that. So watch, see. Square root of 1, what times itself is 1, would just be 1. So it's not a decimal. So when you don't get a decimal, here's what you write for your answer. The equation can be factored. That's what you write. The equation can be factored. That's your answer. That means that T-chart will work, and you can write that into the F1, F2 parentheses. You don't have, the equation can be factored. Okay. Example 2. 8x to the second minus 7x minus 5 equals 0. Also, this square root is known as the discriminant. D-I-S-C-R-I-M-I-N-A-N-T. It's called the discriminant. So we're going to evaluate the discriminant. B squared minus 4AC. So B is negative 7. 4, and then A and C. A is 5, C is negative 5. Remember to get the negative on the 5. Or A is 8, my bad. A is 8, C is negative 5. So I put my minus. I take negative 7 times negative 7. That means that's 49. That should always be positive in front of there. Anytime it's something's to the second power, it's positive. Then I take 4 times 8 times negative 5. Got negative 160. So I plus. So 49 plus 160 is 209. And then I find the square root of 209 on a calculator. I'll just use a phone calculator. Square root 209. 14.46, okay? This time we got a decimal. Now here's what you write when you get a decimal. The equation cannot be factored. And when it cannot be factored, you put comma, use quadratic formula, and that's the song, okay? Means the t-chart, you wouldn't be able to find anything. When you get a decimal, that means the t-chart would work and you would go on with it, okay? The equation cannot be factored. Use quadratic formula. You're either going to write this or this. The equation can be factored. The equation cannot be factored. Use quadratic formula. That's all you do. Okay. Next one, example 3. Okay, so A, B, C. Anytime we have an A, B, and a C, this is what we're going to start doing, so we don't have to waste time doing T-charts where it doesn't work. B squared minus 4AC. It's known as the discriminant. So B is 7. 4, A is 4, C is negative 15. Okay, so 7 times 7 is 49. That's always going to be a positive in front of that. 4 times 4 times negative 15 is negative 240. So I add that, it's 289. Now I'm going to find out what the square root of 289 is on my calculator. Okay, 17. That's not a decimal, so the equation can be factored. Okay, example 4. Really pretty easy if you think about it. Okay, 5x to the second plus 12x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so A, B, and C. B squared minus 4AC. So B is 12. 4A is 5, C is negative 2. Okay, 12 times itself is 144. It's not 24. You don't take 12 times 2. You take 12 times 12. Then 4 times 5 times negative 2 is negative 40. And that's 184. So I find the square root of 184. 13.56. We got a decimal. Okay, it was irrational. I'm rounding it. Anytime I get an irrational decimal like that, the equation cannot be factored, comma, use quadratic formula. If you had to solve it, you don't have to solve them, but. Okay, example 5. X to the second plus 6x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so we have A, B, C. Find your discriminant. That's what this is called, discriminant. Okay, so B is 6. 4A is 1. C is negative 5. Okay, so 6 times itself is 36. 4 times 1 times negative 5 is negative 20. So I plus, and that's the square root of 56. Now the square root of 56. Got a decimal, 7.48. So that means cannot be factored, comma, use quadratic formula. That's the song. The quadratic formula is the song, okay? The whole song. It means a T-chart wouldn't work, okay? You wouldn't be able to find anything. You wouldn't find 2 factors of negative 5 that can add 2 plus 6. Okay, example 6. Got 2x squared plus 7x equals negative 6. Now before you can use a discriminant though, A, B, C, you have to have your 0. So you plus 6, there's no C over there, so plus 6 goes after. So for A I have 2x to the second. For B I have plus 7x, and for C I have plus 6. Okay, so now I go to the discriminant. Just had to do a little extra thing at the beginning there, but it wasn't a big deal. B squared 4AC, that 4 is always there. B is 7. 4A is 2, and C is 6. So 7 times itself is 49. 4 times 2 times 6 is 48. That's 1. Well, that's not a decimal, that's 1, so I put, you write can be factored. Okay, example 7. 4x to the power of 2 plus 3x minus 8 equals 0. So your 0's there. So I go to my discriminant. In the long run, this makes this go a lot quicker if you know how to do this. So B is 3, 4, A is 4, and C is negative 8. Okay, so 3 to the second's 9. Then I take 4 times negative 8. It's negative 128. So I have 137. 9 plus 128 is 137. So I evaluate now on my calculator. So square root 137. Okay, definitely a decimal, 11.70 when rounded. It's irrational. You have to round it. So cannot be factored, comma, use quadratic formula. Okay, then example 8. We've got 2x to the second minus 3x equals 20. A, B, C. Again, you have to have your 0 before you go to your discriminant. So that 20 can't be there. You have to minus 20. That's a C, so there's no C over here, so we minus 20 from there. So 2x second minus 3x minus 20 equals 0. So B squared minus 4AC. So B is negative 3. 4A, A is 2. C is negative 20. Okay. So negative 3 times itself is a positive because you're taking a negative times a negative, so it's 9. Then I go 4 times 2 times negative 20, negative 160. Plus plus, so the square root of 169. So I'm going to square root 169. 13, okay? So that is not a decimal, so it can be